Pull up a stool and pour yourself a pint as you're about to join three intrepid drinkers, Kevin, Justin, and Mark, as they embark on another Beertastic voyage.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Beertastic Voyage. My name's Kevin.
I'm Mark.
And I'm Justin.
And today we are back with another style spotlight where we have three excellent examples from three fairly local breweries for brown ales.
That is correct.
We've got one from Lithology, one from Newburgh, and the ever popular Brooklyn brown ale.
Yes.
I don't know.
Consummate favorites.
We're all a little sleepy today.
And I also think that Mark is trying to make things awkward on purpose again.
Possibly. But we're all a little sleepy today. But I'm looking forward to this one because brown ales tend to be one that I look for, and I like to try them. And Justin, you mentioned something before that sometimes you kind of shy away from them because they can be a little bit hoppy. But I think when you find one that has that nice sweetness to it, it's a really, really nice style because it can have a little bit more flavor but still be light and refreshing.
Yeah, I mean, the English variant versus the American variant, which prior to me doing this, I had no idea. So I would see brown ale, I would order it because the last one I had was really good. And then the next one, for some reason, is entirely different.
Right.
Now knowing what to look for in a menu when being able to read it, it makes life a lot easier and knowing to know what you're going to get. I personally tend to like the English variant a little bit more. But it's all about being knowledgeable now and being able to find the brown ales that stick out for me.
For truth. So I'm going to toss it over to Mark, and he's going to give us more of the details on it.
Yeah, so American brown ale, the couple of sentence description I came up for it in my own words are, it tastes like brown, but in a good way.
In a good way.
Sweet like chocolate chip cookie, but with enough bitterness to keep it in balance.
So like baker's chocolate, but not, sweet milk chocolate.
Yeah, but with more like hints of, caramelized sugar than you get in just straight up baker's chocolate.
I want to hear you read that again in Ralphie's voice. Tastes like brown, but better.
Tastes like brown, but in a good way. There you go.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. I'm going to isolate that now.
We keep saying we're going to do that, but...
Oh, I have been.
Okay.
The ones that I want, not the ones you fuckers request.
Okay, so
most of the ones you guys request are about me, and I don't need that.
There you go.
I just put them on the YouTube.
I know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Or the Instagram.
My dumb shit ends up becoming our Instagram video. Oddly enough, I scrolled all over myself in one of the previous episodes, and then the bottle share with Mark this past Thursday, I basically dropped the beer in his lap. And thank God his knee is apparently incredibly flat because the bottle basically stopped on his knee and stayed there.
Nice job.
Yeah.
It's all the baby bouncing on the knee.
Right.
Flattened it out. That's good. That's good. So what about the history of brown ales? Do you have that together?
Yeah, there isn't a lot as far as American brown ale goes because it's basically that early American craft brewers tasted British brown beer and were like, hey, that's pretty good. Let's try making one of those. And in typical American fashion, they put more hops and increase the alcohol.
Right.
And, for the most part, instead of having the earthy, spicy English hop character, you get more of the citrus, pine character from typical American hops.
Okay. And now you guys have spent more time on have definitely done more brewing. So to get the brown shade, how dark are we talking of malts that we're using?
Usually, to get like this particular color, it's just a tiny portion, like 1-2% of the entire grist of like black patent malt or maybe roasted barley.
Okay, so it's more of a bunch of light malt with a touch of dark
for the color.
To get the color. It's not a large portion like medium roast. It's not like coffee. It's not like medium roast.
No, generally that's not the case. It's very possible that somebody could build a brown ale in that way, but usually it's like a lot of pale malt and then like a little bit of like maybe a caramel malt and then something heavily roasted.
Yeah, you can use a little bit. Before this episode, I was looking at some recipes to get an idea, and I saw a few that from the AHA that had won the category that had used a fairly high percentage of caramel, like almost 10%.
Yeah.
But even a little bit higher of a color.
Right.
And they were really, really low on the dark malt. Like it was less than 1%, but just enough to kick it up into the higher category.
Yeah, just a splash to give it the color.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I would think that it would be the majority in a middle tone, try to create a richer flavor. But maybe that's what keeps the beer so light, is that you stick with the light malts and then.
That goes back to like different brewing traditions as well, because like I know there's a malts there in Ireland that creates a base malt. That's the intention of it, is to use it to make stouts.
Really?
So it's much darker in color than typical Pilsner, two-row, other base malts.
Okay. So which one are we gonna start with today?
So we're starting with Lithology's American Brown Ale.
Okay. So we're gonna go through. We're gonna just.
Yeah,
we didn't talk about it beforehand because we do a great programming show meeting. So we want to taste each one, kind of review it, and then we'll go back and look at the specifics again, kind of like we did last time.
Yeah, or I can go just give you the bullet points right now.
Yeah, just give us an idea of what someone would expect when ordering it, and then we can talk about how each one of these fits into that.
So Brooklyn Brown Ale is one of the BJCP examples of the style. And the bitterness is in the 20 to 30 IBU range, which is what's considered moderate.
Yeah, okay, I can buy that.
Alcohol ranges from 4.3 to 6.2%, and the color ranges from SRM of 18 to 35, which is light brown to very dark brown.
Okay. And I think of the three that we have, we cover a pretty good portion of that spectrum.
Yeah, the Brooklyn is definitely
on the lighter
on the light brown side.
And
the Newburgh is definitely pretty close to black.
Yeah, it's fairly dark there.
Yeah.
It's clearly not black, but it
is very, very dark.
It gets close to light black.
I was racing to the microphone to say light black.
Yeah. I think that's what we need. We just need that should be the first trick that we do. Just it's light black.
So, and then going back to the growth of the style and American craft brewers. First they came up with the American Brown Ale, and then people kept pushing it and pushing it, and eventually you ended up with Brown IPA.
Okay.
Right, of course.
So we actually had the Lithology Brown Ale back in one of the early episodes when we did the.
I think it was like episode 4. I didn't.
I was avoiding looking it up because I know we're gonna rate it again.
I think it's a single digit one.
It is. It's that far back, so I'm curious now to see how.
We're all wrong. It was episode 27.
Oh, okay. Well, it felt like much longer ago.
Yes,
but that's still quite a while ago.
Yeah, that's still
60 episodes.
That's still more than a year ago.
Right.
Let's put it that way. But that's awesome, which means we're getting close to that 100 episode mark.
Sure does.
That's like a important one.
Sometime this summer.
Yeah. We'll have to find something special to do for that one.
I've been thinking about it.
If anyone has some suggestions for it, they should reach out to us. Let us know about it.
Right. Heavy breathe on the voicemail, and just before you're done, tell us what your fantastic ideas.
All right, so let's start with the Lithology Brown Ale.
I mean, color-wise, it's you talked about how it compares to the other ones, but to me, it's right in the middle of what you'd expect from a brown ale. Maybe it's a little touch darker than the middle of a brown ale profile, but it's clearly a brown ale. You pour it, and it really can't be anything else.
Yeah, agreed. It has a little bit. It's still holding on to a little bit of the foam on top, but hanging out to the side of the glass, nice.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, I get that nice wall of little bubbles on the side.
The aroma is a pleasant sweetness, and that's like a tiny bit of dark grain character behind it.
Yeah, it definitely tastes like a lighter ale or lighter lager, which is a little bit more sweetness to it.
Yeah, it has a nice like brown sugar type sweetness that isn't cloying.
Yeah. Now I'm going to use the word wheat bread, but I don't mean wheat flavor at all. but to me, it's almost the difference between tasting white bread versus wheat bread.
Gotcha.
Like, it's a little bit more sugar in there, a little bit molasses in there, and like has a little bit more flavor to it, but it's still very light in flavor.
Yeah, and what's interesting to me about this one is the hop character. While it's definitely present, there's a hop bitterness that balances the malt sweetness, but it's not a overpowering like hop. There's zero dankness, zero like what I would normally call American quality to the hops.
Do we know what hop it would be?
No, I did not come across that. I can tell you it's 4.9% alcohol,
Mm-hmm.
and it has 29 IBUs, but
There
I
you
do
go.
not know what those hops are.
But it's
says
tasty.
on the can.
Yeah, I haven't skimmed the can yet either to find it, but I like it. It's a really, I don't remember what I rated it last time, and I'm sure if it was tasted like this, if it was a similar batch, if they haven't changed the recipe in a year, that I liked it then too. I just probably said, well, it's not the most exciting thing in the world, but I could be drinking this beer. This would be a
I
standby
can tell
beer.
you there's chocolate, maris otter, and victory malts,
Okay, so
but it does not say anything about the hops.
So Victory is a light one.
It is a light one, but it gives you strong, like, bready flavors.
Right, and I know Maris Otter is a dark one.
No, man, Maris Otter is a pale malt.
Is it?
Yeah,
it's a
it's
darker
English pale.
darker pale. It's like a 3 SRM.
What's
4
the
SRM.
really dark one?
I
I thought Maris Otter was like a really dark one.
No, you might be thinking of Munich.
No.
No.
I've just been completely wrong in my head.
In that case, in this instance, the chocolate malt will be the dark malt,
Right.
and that's what's giving it the color and
Okay.
also the
There's a hint of roast on the back of the taste.
Okay. I really thought Maris Otter was a dark one.
it's known to be used in darker beers because of the
Right,
more
yeah.
bready sweetness.
It's
Okay.
usually used as a
But-
base malt in like stouts and stuff.
Okay.
But that just is just from like English tradition.
So I'm not completely off base here.
No.
No,
Yeah, I'm like dark beer, Maris Otter. Yeah, I know that goes in that one. But okay, so I'm not. I was right, but for the wrong reasons.
yes, that goes back to our discussion at the beginning where
All
like,
right.
usually it's a lot of pale malt and then just a little bit of some dark stuff to change the color.
Okay. Well, glad I got that right in my noggin. What do you guys think of this one?
I really enjoy it,
How about you,
which
Justin?
is
I know you went.
about the fact there isn't much left.
Yeah, I know you went. I'm trying to. I could down this really quick, but I'm
Yeah.
trying to save it a little bit so I can go back and compare later.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Especially this is the type of brown ale that I like. I like sweeter versions of it. This is sweet. Like I said, I would not, based on previous experience, I would not say, wow, this is definitely an American brown ale.
Right.
It's also definitely not an English one because it's not nearly as sweet as an English brown ale would be.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it straddles the line almost perfectly for me. I probably rated an easy bomber. I mean, it's pretty close. It's close to a growler, but that probably wouldn't quite make it there for me.
I mean, for me, I probably rate. I don't remember what I rated it, but I'd probably say bomber as well. But like to me, this is the kind of beer that like you keep stocked in the fridge.
Yeah.
Like I'd keep these in the can. Keep cans of these in the fridge and just like any night, feel free to like pull out this and sit down and have one of these with dinner. I think it'd pair really well with
Just about
meals.
everything, yeah.
Especially with a 4.9% ABV.
Yeah.
It's also a really good way to like push someone to try a little bit darker of a beer.
Yeah, but yeah, this would just be like, yeah, this is what I keep in my fridge. You want one? You can have it. Go forward.
Yeah. No, I agree with you guys. It's definitely a solid bomber for me. I enjoy two pints of it and with a meal or whatever.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's tasty. I like it. It's definitely a favorite of mine from there.
So the next one we're going to move on to is from Newberg, and I always love that Newberg does the pint cans.
Yeah.
And they all have that distinct style of kind of like a collage.
Yeah, like the checkerboard.
The checkerboard collage on there. This
thing.
one's got like a little wooden soldier guy on
Right.
it, or I guess they're supposed to be revolutionary soldiers. I don't really know, but they look like little soldiers to me, little wooden guys.
The aroma on this is similar to Lithology, maybe a little fainter.
Right.
Some sweetness, but definitely some what smell like earthy hops to me.
Yeah, it definitely has a little bit more of a earthy smell. I want to say dirt, but dirt doesn't really sound very pleasing, but like earthiness.
What does this beer smell like? Dirt in the best possible way.
Brown in a good way, right? So I think I saw on the can. This one's what 4.2 or something. Yeah, 4.2.
Yes, 4.2, 25 IBUs here, so a little bit less than the lithology.
Yeah, I mean, again, we're in the same territory, I think, flavor-wise.
Yeah, a little.
This is a little bit more like the
sharp.
the rose character. Sharp is a
Right.
good way to put it.
Also was a bit more carbonated when we poured it out. When I poured it, I had half my glass was full.
Right.
Which didn't hang around surprisingly that long, but there's a little bit of rim around the edge there. But yeah, it's a little bit sharper on the roast, a little bit, I think the carbonation gives it a little bit more of the carbonic
More of a
bite to it, but it's not so much that it takes away from it. And I think with it being a little bit sweeter, it helps the balance.
Yeah, the body on this one, for me, is a little fuller than the lithology, and I like it.
Yeah.
I like heavier, thicker beers.
Right.
The lithology one's still very tasty, but I'm liking how the roast and the fuller body kind of combine to make the flavor stay around a little bit longer.
Yeah. So I'm going to read the little bit that they have on the can here. It says, brown ale in the south of England. They prefer their brown ale maltier and lower in alcohol. Here in Newburgh, we tend to agree. Verging on black, this beer pours with a light tan head and a beautiful ruby highlights in the glass. Sorry, I'm turning the can back and forth here.
Yeah,
The flavor-
it wraps 3/4 of the way around.
Right.
So.
The flavor is dominated by malty sweetness and gentle hints of chocolate and toffee. A nice and sessionable 4.2% alcohol content and medium to light body begs for an evening by the fire at your local pub. I think that's a really spot on example of it. Like, description of it.
Of this beer, yes.
Yeah.
I'm curious. They didn't from the way they described that, it sounded more like they were describing it as an English brown rather than an American brown.
I think they're saying that they're taking a lot of inspiration.
Okay.
Yeah, but this definitely.
Yeah, I agree. That's what I mean. I thought the hop flavor is there to make it an American brown. That's why I was surprised that it
Well,
didn't.
that and how strong or prominent the roast character is in the beer. It's almost closer to me to like an American porter in taste than a brown ale, just because of how strong the roast is.
I don't think the roast is that strong on it, but I could see how if you were making this and someone said, hey, I like this and I want more intensity, how you could evolve from this into a porter. But I don't know if I would definitely, I think if they called this a porter, I would kind of be a little disappointed that they're calling it that I wouldn't get exactly as much of that depth of flavor.
Yeah, and it doesn't have the robustness of a porter when it comes to the flavor, but it definitely the roast is there.
Yeah.
Like I said, in the fuller mouthfeel, I like the fact that it's sticking around, but it definitely does linger.
Yeah.
That roast bitterness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the astringency kind of sits on my palate a little.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So do we want to give this one a rating as well? Same way? Because I think I'd back this one up exactly the same. I think I'd go with Bomber as well.
Yeah, I would agree with the Bomber. For me, it's a little lower of a Bomber than the Lithology one because of that astringency, but I like it enough to get to Bomber.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stick with just a pint on it.
Okay.
It's just not a favorite,
Okay.
as my daughter would say. It's not my favorite.
It's not. Your daughter was adorable this morning, but it blows my mind. I'm not used to the whole, I love you, I hate you, I love you, I hate you.
Oh yeah, it's the the toddler
Right.
change of mind.
Yeah. Uncle Kevin, I love you. Let's go run. Okay. Oh, okay. Sure. Whatever.
No, Uncle Kevin, you touched my shoe. I hate you now.
Exactly. We were playing, and I played along. I shouldn't have played along. It was my mistake. Right. So the last one that we have is the Brooklyn Brown, and you said the Brooklyn Brown is one of their commercial examples.
Yes.
I feel like the Brooklyn one has constantly been the example of style.
I'm sure part of that has to do with how long
They've been doing it.
how long the brewery's been around.
Yeah. Right? Wasn't the Brooklyn one of the examples of style in at least one of the other spots in the not the Imperial Port, the first one we did.
The Milk Stout.
Oh no, that was the Sam.
Yeah.
cream stout that we had.
Yeah.
Creamer. You know what I mean.
But no, several Brooklyn beers are listed as
Right.
as a commercial example of many of the styles.
The appearance on this one is much lighter than the other two.
Yeah. I mean, I can see through this one with a little bit of light behind it. I can see all the way through this beer.
Yeah, it's crystal clear.
Yeah, really nice actually. There's just that little bit of ruby color to it.
Yeah, it's
You
beautiful.
know, dark copper is probably where they would call it.
Aroma wise, the hops lead on this one.
Mm. Yeah, there's definitely a floral hop note in the beginning.
Wow, it's very very different from the other two.
Mm-hmm.
It's very smooth.
Yeah, that's crazy. The sweetness takes a backseat to hop bitterness, but it's still balanced. It's definitely balanced hoppy, but
Yeah.
not so much that it's IPA, brown IPA territory.
No, it's not.
It's still very pleasant.
But to me, it's solidly different than English brown. That it's definitely American brown
Oh
style.
yes.
That it's a floral hop that is forward in character. There's a little pininess in there, but nothing crazy.
Yeah. So the ABV on this is 5.6, and it's 30 IBUs.
Right. So the 5.6 is towards the top end of the spectrum.
Right.
Of the range. And I think you said 30 IBUs was the top end also, right?
Right.
So there it is, highlighted again. Case in point, the top of the range in alcohol and IBUs.
It's America.
Oh yeah.
So clearly the BJCP style wise, this one hits all the notes.
Right.
Which is weird because I like this one the most because you would think that what I said earlier, the idea of the American ones. So what seems to me is that a lot of the other ones listed, the American ones, are they're making brown IPAs versus what would truly be an American brown ale.
Right. So
It probably goes back to the whole problem with most cream ales that American craft brewers make, with them being way too bitter and just completely out of style for what a cream ale actually is supposed to be.
Right.
yeah, that if you find something that actually matches the style, you're like, wow, this is completely different than what most people claim. For me, I really like this one, but I think it's probably been my least favorite of these three
Oh, really?
so far.
Yeah, the lithology is definitely my favorite.
Yeah, so the floral note in this one, I've had this beer numerous times. It's been a good standby for me at restaurants and bars in the area because Brooklyn Brown and is just one of those standbys that people are like, oh, we want to have a craft beer on tap,
Right.
Or a craft beer in bottles available. Once they kind of realized even Applebee's, like when they first started and they were like, oh, we're gonna have a craft beer available. It was, especially the ones on Long Island, it was Brooklyn.
Right.
It was usually Brooklyn Brown, and then they would swap it out for the Pennant Ale in the summertime, or Brooklyn Summer, and kind of flop it around. But this one was easy to have, so I drank a lot of these, and I still really like it. But I think right now it's going to stay at a pint for me because the pininess is just the floral pine is just not exactly what I want anymore. And now that I've found other things that I know to be better at that, it just doesn't go as far for me anymore.
What do you think, Mark?
I'm gonna call it a bomber because I do enjoy it a lot more than the Newberg, but the lithology one is still my favorite as far as overall flavor.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the bomber as well. Again, this is a higher bomber for me. It's not quite a growler because of the pininess,
Right.
but I definitely want a couple of them, and I find it's a pretty complex flavor. A little bit of sweetness, a little floral hop, and then it's one of those ones I would like to do a full pour of it and kind of drink it over the course of a half an hour or 45 minutes and see what happens as it warms up and how it changes. It seems like an interesting beer to me.
Yeah, me rating it a pint is in no way trying to say that it's not a really good beer, and I agree with you. It is complex, that it has those multiple layers of flavors, and I think that's what makes it such a standard
Oh, yeah.
in the in the category, that it can have these different varieties of flavors, that there's a lot to digest in it. So, and it should be around for a while. There's a reason it's sold so much. There's a reason people have, been drinking it for so long. So I appreciate it. Is it time to enter the crucible of news?
Yes, it is. With zeros.
Get to the inflection, man.
I love copying and pasting the zeros.
There you go.
So for those of you that haven't listened to a style spotlight before, we're going to pick our most interesting beer. We're going to pick the closest to style. And what the hell is the third part of this?
Best
tasting. Okay.
Best tasting.
So let's start off with best tasting. I think we're all going to probably agree on that.
For me, for the best tasting, all around has probably been the lithology. It's got that little bit of sweetness. It balanced it out the most for me, and probably just the easiest drinking of all of them. I think it's my favorite of the day.
Yeah, I agree. That to me is it's the easiest drinking for me. It's the one that I enjoy drinking the most. Just to drink it, forget about being a weird craft beer nerd and thinking about it while you're doing it. If I'm gonna, crush one of these, that's gonna be the one.
How about you, Mark?
Yeah, I'm with both of you guys. The lithology is definitely my best tasting.
I think this might be the first time we've been unanimous.
No, I think we've had unanimous, but no one's won the trifecta yet.
Okay.
No one's been the
Correct.
most interesting, the best tasting, and the closest to style.
Yes, that's true. That is true. I
If
don't
we
know
get
that will
one
ever happen.
If we get one that does that, then that might have to be, automatically enter our Hall of Fame or something.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, we'll keep that in mind. Okay. So who wants to nominate something for most interesting?
For most interesting for me, I'm tossing back and forth between the Brooklyn and the Newburgh.
Between the brown ale and the
And
brown
the
ale.
Yeah. Well, sometimes they have different names, but yeah, all three of these are literally just the brown ale.
Right.
I'm tossing back and forth between the Newburgh and the Brooklyn, between the most interesting for me. We mentioned that, Justin, you pointed out that the Brooklyn has a really complex flavor, and there is a lot of layers to it, but that little bit of coffee going on in the Newburgh one with the sweetness really creates a interesting characteristic for me, something that I like that I could drink more of. So I'm going to keep pondering back and forth and hear your guys, and maybe one of you two can sway me.
Okay. Well, most interesting for me is probably going to be the Newburgh. That's because I was referring to the BJP style guidelines, and I feel like it's pretty damn close. I think it's almost as good in terms of style guidelines as the Brooklyn. But the part that's the most interesting to me is the tiny bit of yeast character and roast that the Newburgh gives that the other two do not.
How about you, Mark? Sorry about that.
Pondering.
Yeah, if we're just talking the most interesting, then yes, I would agree. The Newburgh is definitely the most dynamic of the three.
Okay. So is that the one that you're going to put your stamp on for that one?
Yes, I will
Most
say that the Newburgh is definitely the most interesting example of the three that we have in front of us.
I will, you guys are kind of confirming, what I was thinking. So I will put my vote behind the Newburgh as well. And so we have an accord. Where we can
The white smoke has blown the building.
Exactly.
So I think that based upon my previous comments, it's pretty obvious. I'm going to pick the Brooklyn as the closest style, and that's not just because that's how it's listed. I think, like I said, the Newburgh is right on its heels,
Right.
but I think that one provides enough of the hop aroma and flavor,
Right.
more so than the Newburgh does, and definitely much more than lithology.
Because it's American brown, that's the category that we're doing today. Specifically, yes, and it is American brown, right?
Yes,
Not just
yes.
brown, but specifically American browns. I got to agree with you that it should be the Brooklyn is closest to this style, in the sense that it has that distinct floral note that really makes the hop one of the primary flavors that you get, as opposed to the other two, which, despite being more enjoyable to me, is not as much in the character of what we're looking for.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree. While the lithology is certainly my favorite, as far as fitting the style guidelines, the best is definitely the Brooklyn, because you said it very well, Kevin, that the hot presence in the lithology just isn't there.
Right. Do either of you guys have the PDF handy for the styles?
Yeah.
Like, what now? It's probably like the next page over or something that has regular brown ales, right? Or English brown ale?
Oh no, it's
totally different.
yeah.
Totally different area.
Oh, it's all the way to different.
Yeah, that would be English dark beer, and this is
You're just
19.
looking for like the
I was just wondering if it would. I was just wondering for like the quick one or two
Comparison.
liners. Yeah.
yeah. So I can read you the style comparison section
Oh,
of the
okay.
American. So the BJCP says more chocolate and caramel type flavors than an American pale or amber ale,
Okay.
typically with less prominent bitterness in the balance, less bitterness, alcohol, and hop character than brown IPAs, more bitter and generally hoppier than English brown ales, with a richer malt presence, usually higher alcohol, and American/New World hop character.
Yeah, I think that last part is what sets
Yeah.
the Brooklyn Brown apart, because you definitely are getting an American hop character from that.
Yeah, and that's really what stands out to me.
Yeah.
But it's still fantastic beer, and I really do enjoy it. And I'm a little sad that we only have the one can of the Lithology Brown to pour out amongst the three of us. But I'm not going to do the pour them all together.
No?
I,
What the fuck? It's a tradition, man. We did it twice. We did the rest of our lives now.
okay, well,
All right, Mark is gonna take the
Mark's
hit
going
on
to jump on that
Okay.
sword.
See, I feel like you had a much more even quantity to do over there.
Yeah, probably, but I've been trying to balance it out.
I'm trying to cut back.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, the stronger roast in the Newburgh is still there, but it's definitely more rounded, having the additional
Hop of the.
notes of sweetness from the other two brown.
Okay. Interesting.
Well, excellent. So they should do a collaboration.
There you go.
They should do essentially a brown lambic.
A red-
That's right? Lambics are the blended ones?
Yeah, but
It's 1, 2, and 3 years, I know.
well, that would be a goose, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Let's call it a blended brown.
We'll do a blended brown, and then I'll also put it in a barrel. Just because everything's better when it comes out of a barrel. And what's better than a brown barrel ale? Just making stuff as I go along. I don't know if you can tell.
It was a big beer. It was a big brown beer. It was a big brown beer. Barrel of beer.
Big beer chase me.
Yeah.
Yes. That's a great movie.
What was I was going to say, speaking of coming out of a barrel, well, I told you guys earlier, but last night I went out to dinner, down to Barbecue, and they had from Boulevard the bourbon barrel aged quad on tap. That was really delicious. Really liked that one. It had that sweetness of a quad, but then kind of a little bit of alcohol and warmth cut through it a little bit.
Did you get a lot of vanilla?
No, it wasn't super vanilla, but it was really pleasant, and it didn't quite have the cloyingness that sometimes quads have. That you're like, oh my god,
Yeah,
really
yeah,
heavy.
because a lot of them they finish so high
Right.
on the gravity.
So I think the barrel aging chilled it out a little bit, but it was really tasty. So if you're over in that neck of the woods, you guys should try it out.
Yeah, that does sound good. Almost everything I've ever had in Boulevard has been awesome. So
Yeah, I'm really appreciating their stuff, and all these are really good, and I like that they were all fairly local too, so we can appreciate that.
Yes, we were able to do a style spotlight with Newburgh's upstate, Lithology's obviously at Farmingdale, and then Brooklyn Brewery. If you don't know where that is, then you probably should stop listening to us. Or a moron.
So where is it located?
Yeah, where can I get that?
What is the name of your fine establishment? And where is it located?
So as always, I would just ask that if you have a favorite in the brown ale category that we have not mentioned, that you should give us a ring, shoot us an email, tweet us, Instagram us, whatever. There's every way in all sorts of ways to get in touch with us and let us know what it is that.
Comments on the YouTube.
Yeah, come on the YouTube channel.
Yeah, go watch our ugly mugs. Tell us how ugly we are.
Yeah.
All comments will be posted. All of them.
Yes,
Even the ones about my mother. All of them.
We have faces for radio. We know. But that's gonna be about it for me.
All
Anything else, guys?
No.
All right. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
If you enjoyed Beertastic Voyage, please be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and don't forget to review and rate us. The guys can be found online at www.beertasticvoyage.com, on Facebook at www.facebook.com/beertasticvoyage, and Twitter and Instagram at Beertastic Show, or send them a good old-fashioned email at beertasticvoyage@gmail.com. Thanks for listening, and cheers for local beers.